Do you know one of the biggest misconceptions that practice owners have about high-level dental marketing is completely false and is holding them back from growing their practice? Over the past few years, I've worked with a lot of amazing dental and orthodontic practice owners, but I've noticed a couple of trending thoughts that are in the way of them getting more success in their practice. And I honestly think it's one of the biggest reasons I do what I do. It's the idea that you have to hire expensive agencies to help you with your online marketing. It's accepted that you have to do this to truly be successful in your practice. And I know it sounds crazy, but just hear me out in the next few moments. I'm going to introduce you to a method that we've used over and over to help practices get predictable, sustainable growth in patient count and doubling the lifetime value of each one. A method that has been battle tested and proven to work. And I know what some of you might dismiss what I'm saying. Some of you might not even finish the video. And those that are really struggling might say, sure, it worked for them and others, but it's never going to work for me. And right now, I'm asking you not to be one of those people. It's absolutely true that no one can guarantee your success, but not myself or anyone else for that matter. But the one thing that will dramatically increase your odds of getting success more than you ever thought possible is having a proven system to follow. And that's why I want to introduce you to our proven functional marketing framework that can give you success you're looking for when it comes to growing your practice. Look, if you are committed to moving your practice to the next level, and if you want to grow your practice without relying on others to make it happen, then you're in the right place. I will say this. The fact that you're here right now watching this video proves that you have what it takes to apply some simple steps and get big results. This puts you in a very unique position because there's basically nobody else out there doing what you're going to see in a few moments. My name is Derk Hebdon, the owner of Dental Fractional CMO Services. It's a division of Deseret Media Company, one of the top 5 online dental and orthodontic marketing agencies in the U.S. I've helped multi-location and group practices scale their revenue through marketing since 2010. I'm an expert on the evolving landscape of marketing strategy, digital marketing, sales, and remote teams, always looking for the win-win outcome for founders, management, and team members. I'm also a certified fractional CMO with CMOX, which is geared specifically for fractional CMOs. I'm an Arizona State alumni, class of 91. I believe that doesn't date me too old. I spend weekends with my wife exploring Vegas and the Caribbean when we get the chance. My experience allows me to see firsthand each day what's working, what is not. This also allows me to make pivots and adjustments in real time to keep me in front of everyone else in the marketplace. And you'll see for yourself how easy it is to use what I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. Now, this training is for practice owners, those who don't shy away from a challenge. They're the people who have a burning desire to achieve great success. Whether just starting out or have decades of experience is irrelevant. The marketing is changing all the time, and you need an edge on your competition. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how you can expand your practice and achieve predictable, sustainable growth. And I challenge those with a lot of knowledge, past experiences, and ego, and set it aside for a minute so you can add some new knowledge, understanding, and an innovative method that you may not be familiar with. And if you're new to high-level dental marketing, get ready to take some notes because you're setting yourself up to accelerate your progress and your success in high-level dental marketing. Now, when it comes to high-level dental marketing, I've learned a lot about its fundamentals, and I have made plenty of mistakes in the industry. But I've also learned out what works, and I've developed a way to make things easier for anyone serious about getting success, and it has worked for them repeatedly. So if you're serious and ready to grow your practice and want to level it up more than you ever thought possible, then stick around. You'll see just how attainable your goals really are and how you really can grow your practice without relying on others to make it happen for you in just a few steps. Now, we know that high-level dental marketing is the key to expanding your reach and getting hot, pre-qualified new patients that are ready to buy your services. Also, to alleviating the disconnect that may be happening with your marketing efforts, what they might be going through. For most people in larger dental and orthodontic practices, there are lots of paths that you can take. And each of these has pros and cons, including high-level dental marketing. And in order to crush it in the industry, we've developed a proven functional marketing framework. Now, this strategy incorporates the following components. 1, the dentist or orthodontist CEO's vision. 2, the strengths of your practice. 3, the current marketing assets. 4, the capabilities of your current marketing team. 5, your ideal patient or customer. 6, positioning. How are you different than your competitors? 7, selling. What's your in-house sales processes? 8, marketing. What are you currently doing marketing-wise? What needs to be done? And how we can establish winning marketing campaigns. And the next is scaling. Taking your winning marketing campaigns and dialing up to reaching capacity to service more patients. And then lastly, outsourcing. So let's just jump right in. So with this business model, we say, what do you want? Well, you want predictable growth. To get predictable growth, you have to have 3 things: strategy, talent, and leadership. Now, strategy can be broken down into the assets that you already have mixed in with what's working today and the right fit campaigns. So assets you have are like, you have any lead magnets, PDF reports, videos, email campaigns, webinars, ebooks, etc. What assets do you have available? What marketing campaigns have you done before? Now, what's working today? Now, I know what's working today. That's one of the things I can bring to the table. I can tell you what's working today for practices like yours. And then there's the right fit. These campaigns are a mix of what's working today, mixed with the assets and capabilities and the kind of team that you have. That's how we came up with the right strategy. So for talent, you need capacity, competence, and momentum. Now, a lot of practices have capacity. They don't have competence, and maybe they have competence, but they don't have momentum. And how are you going to get momentum? Well, momentum comes from getting people aligned in the right direction. And really, it's those 2-week sprints, which are inside each quarter, right? That's how you build momentum. The question is, do you have capacity in the organization? Is there anyone on your marketing team on the competence side? How smart are they? How good are they at marketing? Can they execute the campaigns flawlessly? So momentum, do you have momentum? Do you feel like your team is moving forward or stalled or maybe moving backwards? Right now, when it comes to leadership, you have direction, accountability, and focus. Now, direction. Direction is knowing which way to go. Accountability, ensuring the right things get done, and focus is ensuring the right things get done in the right order, okay? Now, what happens if you have strategy and talent, but no leadership? Well, you're directionless. What happens if you have strategy and leadership and no talent? Well, then you're legless. What happens if you have talent and leadership but no strategy? Well, then you're headless. So my question to you, and this is for your practice, are you directionless, legless, or headless? Or maybe it's a combination of 2 of those. What do you think? So let's talk about how to build momentum. When you have momentum, you have predictable growth. If you don't have momentum, you don't have predictable growth, right? So how do we build momentum to get predictable growth? Well, first we need to start with strategy. Strategy is king. This is the very foundation of everything. I mean, in a minute we'll talk more about strategy, but once you have a great strategy, then you need tracking. If you can't see if something's working or not, how do you know if it's working, right? Or being efficient as possible? How do you double down on things that are working and stop doing the things that aren't? Then it's campaign execution. You have to be able to execute. Your team has to execute campaigns flawlessly every single time. You can't live in a world where your team doesn't execute those campaigns flawlessly. If you have issues, if you have a lead magnet, you don't have follow-up emails, they don't go out on time, they're not relevant to the offer, you have broken links, etc., you're just never going to have predictable growth until you have great execution. Now, once you have great execution, then it's now about testing different things. So execution means selecting a strategy, keeping it simple, keeping it to one title, one audience, one email series, and run it. Once you can do that, then we can start testing different elements. Test the title, test the audience, test the offer, things like that. Keep testing until you have a strategy completely dialed in before you jump onto another one. Then comes systemization. You want to be systematic with all your marketing. Once you've launched it and you've kind of gotten through the testing phase, you want it to be a system. You want it to be routine in the organization that can't require much energy. It's like a flywheel. Once it's launched, you just keep it going. You don't have to restart it. Okay? Now, after that, you can scale, which is doing more of a system that's dialed in, as this will get you predictable growth. But what's the most important thing? It's strategy, and that's the very foundation. So let's discuss strategy. How do we build a perfect marketing strategy? This is where our proven and functional marketing framework comes in. It's the very core to the work I do as a dental fractional CMO. Now, the functional marketing framework is the very DNA of our marketing strategy. So it starts with your vision. What's the vision of your practice? Do you want to grow? Do you want to 2x or 5x or 10x your practice? Do you want to sell to private equity or a DSO? Do you want to grow through acquisition? Do you want to just make a little bit of money and do a whole lot less work and just enjoy the lifestyle that your practice can give you? What's your vision? Once we understand your vision, what are your strengths? What are the strengths of the team? What are your strengths? What is the strength of your brand in the industry? Once we understand that, what assets do you have available? Lay them out for me. I want to see all the tools that are available for me to use. Just lay them all out, okay? This could be ebooks, could be webinars, it could be email campaigns, videos. This could be all sorts of stuff. So we need to see your assets and then understand the capabilities. Now, what does your current marketing team consist of? Do you have a marketing manager, team members, contractors, agencies? What are they like? What's their capacity? What's their competence? What do they enjoy doing? Then we need to understand who your ideal customer is. If we were to work together, we would go through a process to discover your ideal patient customer. And it's the one that you'd actually pay the most to acquire, and it's the least pain in your butt. You want ideal patients that you can replicate, that don't suck energy, right, out of your practice. Then we work on your positioning. If you're solving a problem your ideal customer or your ideal patient has, how do you differentiate from your competition? This is important. How is Domino's, for instance, different than Pizza Hut? They both sell kind of cheap pizza, but Domino's uses a USP of it's fresh and delivered in 30 minutes or it's free, or something like that. What's your positioning? How are you different? How do you differentiate? Well, we'll discover that together if we work together. Now we talk about selling. Notice we haven't yet talked about marketing. We're talking about selling. Why selling and not marketing? Well, marketing is just salesmanship multiplied. And if you can't sell, well, you can't market. So I don't want to lie to you and say, oh, we're going to do this great marketing campaign if your team can't sell the service that you have. So I want to intimately understand your in-house sales process. I want to talk to your salespeople, both on the front desk that schedules the initial appointment to the team member that talks with your patients about treatment options. I want to hear recorded calls of how they sell. If they sell over the phone, I want to understand your sales process. I'll be a fake prospect and I'll just ask them a bunch of questions. So there needs to be a clear sales process. Then that's when we can move to marketing. And marketing is where we think, how do we leverage sales? How do we multiply sales? How do we do that we do that with marketing. What are all the different marketing campaigns that we can come up with that serve your ideal patient, that solve a problem for them, that we can broadcast your positioning on, okay? Those are the marketing campaigns we come up with. And we come up with an exhaustive list of them. Then we can scale. We can take your winning marketing campaigns and dialing them in to reach capacity to be able to serve the most amount of patients possible. And we potentially at that time can then outsource some of those. Outsourcing is great once you have a routine task that's developed, like a outbound marketing campaign, or you reach out to folks through cold email, for instance. Once that's created as a routine, you can find someone offshore potentially to do that at a much lower rate than someone local to you. So outsourcing is a great way to increase the sustainability and profitability of your practice. But that's not it. There is another piece. So what happens after you have this whole marketing strategy defined? Well, the next thing that needs to be done is to execute it. Okay? Then once it's executed, then what do we do? So essentially we have several marketing campaigns that we've come up with in the functional marketing framework that we're executing upon. Then what? Well, it's not like we can predict the future, but we certainly can see about 90 days or quarterly ahead or so. So the next phase we move on is what we call the ear loop. It comprises of 4 different junctures that we meditate on with our clients every single quarter. The first one is educate. What I mean by this is we think what's needed for your practice to grow. We may need to educate prospects. 1, that they have a problem. 2, that the problem or the solutions exist. And 3, that your solution is superior. There's probably some education that's needed. I love education because you can be the kind of one and only when you educate someone. If they don't know they have a problem and you introduce them to the problem that they have and provide a solution, you essentially have no competition in their mind. That's great. For example, most people know that they probably should have their teeth checked and cleaned at least once a year, but most don't act on it until they have a problem with their teeth. If we can teach a prospect sooner, provide education about why they shouldn't wait, and a clear choice about your practice as the best solution, well, you end up with little competition at that point. Once they're in the chair, after x-rays and a cleaning are done, then additional education will be given with options to choose from. Then again, you end up being the clear choice with no competition. Now, the problem with education is it can be expensive. You're finding people who don't know they have a problem, which means they have no urgency. So initial education can be difficult, but it's also very valuable. There's plenty of practices that have done a great job with education, identifying problems that prospects didn't know they had and showing them that they have them. Now, after you educate someone that they have a problem, that there was a solution and you're the solution, then you have to acquire them. You have to acquire them as a patient. So the acquisition process here, when we say acquire, we mean how do we get traffic or potential patient prospects who are online into leads, and the leads to patients. What's the acquisition process? You have to generate a lead list in order to generate a patient. So we think, okay, what acquisition campaigns can be created to support you long term? So next is how do we retain our patients? Peter Drucker says the point of a business, in your case, point of your practice, is to get and keep a patient. Now, most businesses and practices aim just to get patients. Now, I want you to keep them. This means going from a yearly average patient value of $400 to maybe up to $700 to an average lifetime or 5-year average value going to about $3,500 or more. So how do we retain? Well, there are ways to do this. Some of them are continuity offers, like offering a bi-yearly fee for ongoing service, cleanings and teeth whitening. How about smaller monthly fee for basic teeth care for those that have no dental insurance or something like that? Now, how do we retain people? Well, we can sell secondary products to them or tertiary services like braces, root canals, implants, full mouth restorations, all on 4 dental implants. How do we sell other specialist products that you don't do to your patients? Again, if great education, the solution options out there, and your specialists that you're referring by being the best option for them, that kind of thing. So again, it's great education, offering solution options that are out there that include maybe specialists that you have agreements with, right? And being able to refer out to them would be the best option. Those kinds of things. And then finally, how do we get referrals? So you can see educate, acquire, retain, refer. How do we get referrals from folks? Patient referral value should be in about $7,000 range, meaning each and every patient you have, if properly guided, should yield about $7,000 in services with new patients to your practice. Now, there are also public referrals, right? There's public and private referrals. What is a public referral? A review in Google, Yelp, Facebook, and the like. Also having patients check in to your Facebook fan page properly when they come in. This is one of the most powerful ways to get referrals from patients. This is what I can show you when we work together. Now you'll notice that it's a loop because once somebody gets referred in, they have to be educated at a minimum. They have to be educated that you're the superior solution that they should buy, but they might not also know that they have a problem. So let's put this all together. So here's what the functional marketing framework looks like. If we were to work together in the first 90 days, we're going to start here at the bottom and work our way up. We're going to start with the vision, strengths, asset, capabilities, ideal customers, positioning, selling, marketing, and then scaling and outsourcing. Ultimately, once it's completed in the first 90 days, then every 90 days or every quarter thereafter, we're coming up with new marketing campaigns that we're testing and that we're running with. And we do that with the ear loop. So I hope this proven functional marketing framework makes sense and is helpful for you. The best part about all this is once you put it to work, you are building your future success. You no longer have to worry about the market ups and downs and wasteful spending on marketing that is not efficient in getting you new patients or leaving anything to chance. You can finally relax and enjoy doing what you enjoy doing, knowing there is a predictable pipeline of patients coming your way. This strategy isn't rocket science, but it is proven to work for practice owners, and it's a solid foundation to help you succeed in this industry. If any of this sounds interesting to you, here's what I invite you to do next. On this page, you'll see a button below. It will take you to a booking page. Now, as you're doing this, one thing I want you to keep in mind is this. Part of the reason that I have had success in doing what I do is that I only help those who are truly committed to putting the right strategies in place for success in their own practices. From what I've just presented, along with what we will discuss in our strategy call, you'll discover the next steps you need to take in expanding your reach and getting predictable growth as a result from implementing a proven high-level marketing strategy. It's not magic. It definitely takes work, but it pays in huge dividends. If you're seriously wanting to quit stalling your success and getting that predictable, sustainable growth in patient count and a much higher lifetime value of each one, you really have no risk in taking action today. In fact, the biggest risk you have is taking everything I just showed you and taking no action at all. After we meet and discuss your specific practice needs, at the very least, you'll walk away from our conversation with actionable tips that you can begin implementing in your own practice with a ton of clarity. And there is absolutely no obligation. It's your choice. And either way, you'll walk away with massive value no matter what your decision is moving forward, especially when you have someone like me who has helped and is helping and assisting practices and owners just like you succeed in this industry. I'm literally willing to give it my all to help you get the same results, but at an even faster pace. So if you want exceptional results for yourself and your practice, click the button below to book a call with me, and let's make this happen. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.